topic is Google AI overview going to hurt or harm SEO or SEO companies or the SEO industry, or will it reduce the ROI of your SEO efforts? For example, when you go and search something now on Google, Google will give an AI summarized answer for you. And so, as you may imagine, users will just look at that, get their answer sometimes, and really not go and start to consume your answer that your blog has posted, right? So, essentially, the work that you've put in, to make to make that content on your website and to get users clicking on your thing, get traffic to your website, that traffic theoretically will be reduced because people are going to get the answer because it's pretty much Google giving itself a default number one rank almost every time, right? And and so now by default, you if you're number one, you're kind of number two now because Google is giving itself number one pretty much. And the reason it's done this is because of ChatGPT. People go and just GPT their questions as opposed to Google their questions, right? And Google's whole mission is to make information immediately and efficiently accessible to people. But in doing so, it's pretty much put that effort of creating the information and generating business, it's pretty much just given that to machines. So now your human effort to go and make content and give value to the marketplace or the Google search marketplace, those efforts are pretty much just being beaten out by machines and by AI and machine learning. So that is kind of one of the first possible implications of this whole AI replacing human stuff. So, I've listened to a couple different SEO people on this. There's this one guy, Kaval, that he doesn't seem too affected by it. Life is going to go on as normal, at least until things really progress and get weird. But as far as Google just having a little summarized listing, and a lot of times, as we know, in the early stage of AI, it's not super spot on or super, specific and detailed. It's just kind of like using AI to summarize information. And sometimes that can be off. So there's still a ways for this to really start digging in its claws, and it's not fully there. So if you're an SEO company, I would say, I don't think this is a huge cause for alarm bells right now, but it is kind of like an annoying first step in that direction. So there will be kind of a pain in your side going forward, in my opinion, because like I said, just from a logical perspective, Google's just taking the number one spot by default every single time now. So what do you think about that, Christian? I mean, and I can give some more deets on this, but any initial thoughts?
Yeah, so my first question is, what is SEO?
SEO is search engine optimization for basics. So, you know, and I've been getting more into this. So I have a digital marketing agency, and by digital marketing I mean I run ads for people's social media ads, specifically Facebook and Instagram right now. But I'm getting more into the realm of inbound. So when I'm doing Facebook and Instagram marketing, it's interruption marketing. So I'm just kind of forcing it in there in the middle of someone's day. So it's almost an outbound. As far as advertising, it's as outbound as you can get. Oh, well, not really, because think of billboards, right? Billboards are a kind of interruption as well. No one's driving and thinking, I'm searching for a lawyer's office right now, and they happen to see the billboard and they're inbound at that point. I was looking for a lawyer and I searched and I found it. No, that's interruption marketing as well. But where marketing is really powerful is if you're able to use it to kind of slide yourself right into that space. Someone's already searching for a lawyer or a dentist, and you're using advertising and you're using your dollars to get yourself right in that search process. So that's why I'm really starting to like the idea. I'm going to be honing my skills of Google Ads more, search engine optimization more. So, for example, you guys watching this video right now, chances are you were searching for this, right? And you found it. And I made the title in such a way that I'm using the right keywords to pretty much fulfill your search and your desire. And now you're here, right? So it's the act of putting content out there and just doing the basics of having good keywords in your title, having your keywords in your description, and pretty much using every point of leverage at your disposal to give yourself the highest spot possible. So ideally, I would want to show up in the first search result in YouTube for this video clip, for this video topic. And to do that, what I would want to do is just kind of going on a tangent here into YouTube SEO. What I would want to do is have a really high search, or sorry, a really high um, view duration. So I'd want to keep you guys engaged throughout this whole video. You guys continue to watch for a minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5, 10, 20 minutes, right? If you guys watch this whole video, YouTube's going to love that. Great. I also want to have the keywords in the first couple phrases in the title. So I want to have the keyword right away in the title. I also want to have the keywords in the description in a natural way. Maybe I talk about YouTube SEO and SEO and Google, right? And I talk about that in the description. So Google, this is a relevant piece of content, right? In the tags, in have some comments, and maybe even have links on external sites linking to this video. These are all SEO tactics and techniques. As I said, using every single point of leverage to get myself as high up as possible in that search. So my goal is to be number one in search. And think about it, if you're in a race, you're going to use every single point of leverage to win that race because races are won by very thin margins. So SEO is a game of using every single point of leverage to get yourself to number one in Google or number one in YouTube, right? So answering your question more fully, Christian, SEO on Google has a lot to do with let's go into some of the things here. So you want to have good website architecture. You want to have people able to click in your website only maybe once or twice to the point where they're able to find what they're looking for. Okay, if your destination page is buried very deeply in the website menus and things like that, it's not going to be great for user experience. Similarly, we also want to have great conversion rate optimization principles. So we want to have like a nice call, a clickable call button right there. So where if someone wants to get in touch with me as a lawyer's office, they can literally click the call button and it pulls up the call number on their phone and right away they're calling. So the concept of reducing friction, landing pages are all about this, okay? Reducing friction, reducing distractions, but also making information and making navigation through your website very intuitive, right? And then also writing blog content. Blogs are there to pretty much have answer questions and produce content. So when someone's searching, how do I pot my tomato plant? Right? You have a blog article, how to properly pot a tomato plant. And then you have other blog articles, tomato plants, pros and cons, tomato plant, best tomatoes made by tomato plants. Where are the best states in the US to grow tomatoes? And then you have all these blog articles about potting tomato plants and about tomato plants. And now when someone searches anything regarding tomato plants, you'll rank pretty highly because you have a ton of blog content about that answers people's questions. Maybe they're reading through, and obviously you're trying to make sales in the back end, so you have good call to actions. You maybe even have videos embedded in there, so you're just having a good user experience, answering their questions, and you're a topic authority by introducing keywords, etc. And then ideally as well, if other people are linking to your site, if you're able to go to other blogs and say, hey, there's this blog called planterslife.com. And I'm able to go to planterslife.com. Hey, can you link to this answer I made about how to pot a tomato plant? It really helped me out. Actually, a lot of people end up paying for these what they call backlinks. So I will go to planterslife.com and say, hey man, can you link to this article about how to pot a tomato plant? And in return, I'll pay you $100. Or if you just have a really helpful article, or maybe you have relationships or things like that, sometimes you can work out other deals or ways of doing this because maybe your article is just really valuable and people would want to link to it. So the more backlinks you have, it indicates that you have good topic authority. And so that's also an SEO tactic. You also want to remove duplicate pages, 404 pages, you want to do internal linking or in links. So if I have a blog, I want to like kind of link to my other blog articles from my blog articles so they all feed to each other, right? And I increase the time session on my page in doing so. So those are just a couple of techniques. There's a lot more, but SEO is really interesting because Christian, what's really powerful about this is you can simplify business to traffic and conversion, right? How many people are walking by my storefront every single day or walking into my storefront, and then a percentage of those will convert into paying customers, right? If I can expect a conversion rate of 10% or 3%, right? I would just simply want to pump as much traffic as I can. So if I'm able to do SEO really well, and get myself on number one in a keyword search that has like 50,000 monthly searches, and I'm able to do SEO really well to the point where I'm ranking number one for those 50,000 searches, I'm going to get a ton of business. So SEO is the game of increasing traffic to your website. And then hopefully your website is a good conversion asset and can convert a lot of those traffic and visitors into new customers. So SEO is really important, and there is a game to it. And I just kind of laid out some of the basic tactics here. But yeah, so I hope this educated some of you guys about SEO and also answered the really earlier question of I don't think Google AI overview is going to really harm your SEO efforts right now, but you might see, and I'll be interested to see your guys' data on this as time continues. Let me know if you're seeing Google AI overview actually reduce your traffic because now you're technically a lower spot because Google's default number one. So
So,
you may see a lower ROI,
well, so, okay,
unfortunately.
so let me summarize some of what you said so that I understand it. Basically, it sounds like all of this, by the way, is in service of trying to get your website ranked highest
Yeah.
in the list of search results, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yep.
so ultimately it's like zero sum, meaning there's only one first rank, there's only one second rank, there's only one third rank. It's always going to be like it's a zero sum game. You can't have two first ranked websites, you can't have two second ranked websites, etc. So ultimately, what this means is, let's say, if a session duration, right, the amount of time that an individual user of the internet is spending on your domain, um, that is going to inform Google that your site is more credible, and therefore they're going to rank you higher. So ultimately, also backlinks is another form of site credibility, basically. So it's really like session duration and backlinks. Those are like the two main ways to like get your website trusted by Google, so Google feels good ranking it highly in the search. Okay,
Yeah, that and
so
having your keywords really spread out in the titles, descriptions, H1 tag, H2 tag, good page speed optimization, etc. But yeah, there's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah, totally. So ultimately, all of those things funnel into like site credibility. That's how Google figures out what to rank. So ultimately, whether it's let's say everybody has some credibility score, right? Like let's say it's out of 10. I don't know how Google does it, but maybe it's out of 10. And because of Google AI overview, this simply means that like informational question answers are just not going to be something that you can do with. Um, it's going to be less likely that people are going to click on like a blog article because the AI overview will summarize that.
Yeah.
However, let's say I build a special like calculator tool that calculates like soil acidity for my tomato plants. That kind of stuff, the AI overview is not going to be able to replicate, right?
Yeah.
That's a calculator, right? So I'm literally like, if I Google like calculator for soil acidity,
Yeah.
Google AI overview is not going to be useful there. So I think what we'll ultimately see is um, there's 2 points I want to make. The first point is that because it's a zero sum game, everyone's site credibility is still going to be assessed by relative to all of the others. I'll give you an example. So let's say everybody's only producing blog content, like informational blog content to get increased site credibility. Um, let's say we've got Zapier posting blog content, and we've got ClickUp posting blog content, and we've got Figma posting blog content. If everybody's posting blog content, we're just going to see overall for these three businesses, they're all just going to get less session duration, but they're still probably going to be ranked the same because Google is still taking whatever existing credibility score they have and incrementing it by how much usefulness their existing sites are going to make. So my point is this: people are going to be looking less at blog content, but relative to your competitors, you're still going to be assessed on the same scores.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I
Yeah.
think ultimately it's not going to have too much of an effect on SEO. You should still keep doing that stuff. But I think that where the puck is moving is people are going to be creating websites that are actually just frankly more useful. They're going to be more functional. They're going to have more features. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I was giving the example of like a soil acidity calculator, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just information, because information can be easily consumed and then displayed by Google AI overview. You can't replicate like something with actual, um, some like a tool behind it, right? Like a calculator
Yeah.
for,
Like the
or
actual
like
product or tool or service.
yeah, like like PDF to Word doc conversion website, right? That's
Yeah.
still going to be something that you can't do with Google AI overview. So
And
I think ultimately, all of the same SEO tactics should still be employed, but maybe improving the utility of those. Instead of a blog article, maybe you incorporate some extra tool or feature that is actually that people can find useful, and so therefore they're going to want to still click on your site and go use it, and then that'll increase your
yeah.
credibility relative to your competitors,
Right.
and then ultimately
Maybe
Google will.
some maybe some interactive elements, some type of interactive on-page element, or yeah, just having a product that you're selling. So I think what you're getting at is actually something that's already described in SEO, which is commercial versus information intent. So sometimes people are searching on Google for information, right? And I think AI overview is going to do kind of that job. But also sometimes people have commercial intent, so they're searching for a calculator tool, or they're searching for a keyword tool, right? And so in that regard, you're still going to get the same amount of traffic. I think my whole thing, and I think what you're also saying to kind of put what you're saying in other words, is simply, there may be a slight shaving off the top, but the game is still the same. The shaving off the top is just Google appearing at number one for a lot of information stuff. So I would say continue to hone in on commercial intent keywords because these are the highest converting keywords anyways. So if you're doing SEO, convert for keywords like best tomato plant potting course. Convert on, focus your SEO on Google for, this tomato plant potting tool versus this tomato plant potting tool. So commercial intent keywords you should continue to focus on, especially because they're already high converting. But yeah, Google will take some of that information search away, but the game is still the same. So I think that's what you're saying, and I agree.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple other thoughts here as far as AI, kind of forcing itself into the SEO space, another moat you could really do is, okay, fine. If Google's gonna pretty much take away, text, right? If AI is really good right now at text and writing, right? But what AI is not really good at is video. And what is also a search engine? YouTube. What are the two biggest search engines right now? Google and YouTube, right? One is written and one is video. So if you want to show up for your business, whether that's a lawyer's office, whether that's a calculator tool, what you can do to diversify and build that moat is go on YouTube more and just be like, just think in your head, I want to just dominate the keyword calculator tool or whatever, or if your business is the tomato potting thing, I want to dominate the keywords, anything having to do with tomato potting. I want to dominate that on YouTube search. And then over time, continue to post videos. It's a very similar SEO strategy. I'm going to post this content piece about a question about tomatoes. How long do tomatoes take to ripen? How do I pot a tomato plant? What kind of soil do I use when potting a tomato plant, right? I'm just going to dominate that keyword on YouTube. So that's what I would say for kind of AI putting itself into the SEO space. But yeah, guys, continue to go on. I mean, it's not going to go away. But Christian, again, the awesome thing about SEO is like, imagine if, say you have like, dental supplies, right? Dental products. You could go and make an e-commerce store about dental supplies and just like be really good at SEO and just be, you're researching the keywords and you're like, this keyword has 20,000 monthly searches, this keyword has 10,000 monthly searches, and say you're really good at SEO. Now you're literally just getting 5,000 sessions a month on your e-commerce store organically, free, right? I'm not paying for those listings. I'm literally just really good at SEO, so I rank number one or number two. And now I'm getting 10,000 sessions a month on my store. Whereas, for me in the past, I've dabbled in e-commerce and my whole strategy, my acquisition was ads, right? And that eats into margin heavily. So one idea, even for myself or for the audience, is like, what if you could make an e-commerce store and just tap into the organic search already on Google just by being good at SEO and by learning SEO and all these little techniques and tactics that you can do. So that's why SEO is cool because it's literally just tapping into a market. Oh, there's 20,000 people interested in tomato potting monthly. Let me dominate that on Google or YouTube. Oh, there's 50,000 people interested in carnivore snacks monthly. I'm just going to dominate that keyword on Google and I'm going to get free people. It's like there's markets for everything, and it's really cool to think about that there are keywords for everything, and that's a market right there. Let me tap into that and just tap into that search volume and get sales on the back.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I would summarize kind of what you're saying is like the strategy is just rather than trying to produce informational content to increase your SEO, um, produce things that the AI can't do. So non-informational. I would say. So you basically said video, right?
Yeah,
Some kind of video content because AI is
yeah,
not great at that. I would say add to that list functional content where like your actual not even content like functional tools like literal tools that people can use to like do something. So if I'm like, oh, I need to figure out how much soil to use for like three tomato seeds, like a calculator for that,
yeah,
right? So I would say yeah, functional websites. You're saying use YouTube to do video. I mean, really, the list is just anything that the AI can't do, and right now it's just like text-based information. So anything that isn't that, I think you can still really dominate. And
yeah,
also, just we should add to this like a caveat that Google AI Overview still provides citations. So
yeah,
if Google is using your website to create that Google AI Overview, that your link is technically within that little Google AI Overview bubble, and so
Yeah.
You could rank along in that number one spot with a few other websites if Google is using your blog as the source. So there's still an angle there for informational content. I would say, arguably less so, because most people won't click on those. But yeah, focus on the non-informational keywords and content.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that wraps up that topic, I think. What do you got next?